Hello, I'm Samantha Tranks, an associate at Evershed Sutherland in the State and Local Tax Group in the Washington, D.C. office. Joining me today to discuss a 2020 legislative trend that we've been seeing among the states is Charles Capaway, who is also a member of the State and Local Tax team.
To date, over 40 state legislatures have convened their legislative sessions. This year, states are charting a new course and proposing taxes on advertising services through their existing sales tax, or proposing entirely new taxes on advertising or data.
Currently, we've seen such taxes being proposed in Maryland, Nebraska, South Dakota, New York, and most recently in West Virginia. Charles, do you mind giving us the rundown on the bill that has been proposed in Maryland?
Sure. Maryland SB 2 would impose a digital advertising services tax on the annual gross revenues derived from digital advertising services in Maryland. This would be an entirely new tax, not part of its sales tax regime. Digital advertising services here is defined to include advertising on digital interfaces, which basically means banner ads, interstitial ads, and other similar advertisements.
Although the tax would be imposed on annual gross revenues from digital advertising in Maryland, the tax rate would vary from 2.5% to 10%, depending on a company's global annual gross revenues. This means that those companies with higher global annual gross revenues will pay a higher tax rate in Maryland.
So the sourcing is pretty unique for this tax. There, Maryland would be looking to whether the user's device is located in Maryland. So they have a two-pronged approach, where first they're going to look at whether the IP address is located in Maryland. They'll also be able to look at whether the comptroller knows or reasonably suspects that the user's device is in Maryland, though it's unclear how the comptroller would do so.
Maryland isn't alone in its efforts to tax digital advertising. Nebraska has also proposed Legislative Bill 989, which would expand the sales tax base to include digital advertising.
And South Dakota proposed to repeal its sales tax exemption for advertising services. But just recently, the Taxation Committee struck that portion of the bill via amendment.
It's interesting because Maryland has proposed a tax which would be an entirely new tax, while South Dakota's proposal, which has now been amended, as Charles has alluded to, and Nebraska's would work within the existing sales tax regime. Charles, would you mind letting us know about the New York and West Virginia proposals that would tax data?
Sure. In New York, there's a proposal to impose a 5% tax on the gross income of corporations that derive income from user data. And in West Virginia, there's a proposal to tax general data mining services at the rate of 1 cent per dollar of user data value. Though right now, there's no guidance as to how the taxes would actually be calculated or how they would be sourced.
Thanks, Charles. As states often consider taxes that have been proposed by other states, we expect to see similar taxes proposed in the future.
Thank you for joining us. For more information on legislative developments, please access eversheds-sutherland.com, stateandlocaltax.com, or our Salt Shaker app.
Thank you, and see you next time.